All right, hey, welcome back to my contribution stream. I think it's been a little bit since I've worked or done my stream. April kind of flew by. I think the last one was in March, so hoping to get back on a schedule. So I'm gonna do some phpstan-drupal work today. There's been a few releases and there's some follow-ups. That's gonna help unblock Drupal core's usage of phpstan-drupal itself. So that's what I want to look into right now. There's this regression, this entity count query type, and then this false positive. So I'm going to dive into those right now. So I want to check out this regression, which I think I started to look into before. Or not. So let's see. This test case. Oh, yeah. So I reviewed it, but I didn't get very far with it. So I'm going to look at that. So we're going to retitle. I'm going to check out this PR. So it's 544. And review this really quick. Something got missed. And oh yeah. So it's about constant string callbacks. So let's see. Trusted callback attribute. Oh, what are we going to call this fix? So 2 weeks ago, I added support for this new trusted callback attribute. And in doing so, I refactored this code a bit and it fixed up something broke with constant strings. Since we have an array of constant string type, I tried to check it. I want to find a good way to title this. So we can say, trusted callback attribute regression for type callables. Let's rename it to that for now. And then dive into this and where that changes it. So it's this render callback rule, which is something I had tried to clean up when I was working. It's very big, and eventually I'd like to split it out. So let's see. Oh, don't tell me that you can't find phpstan's code. 1 second. You gotta see why this won't run. So if that's not gonna do it, I gotta close phpstan or phpstorm and then reopen it. But let me try including the var and see if I can trigger an index. No, I don't want to restart. All right. That's not what I was hoping to have happen. Let's see if I can run composer update to get that back. It sounds my phone. So that is one problem that I periodically get where phpstorm won't index the phpstan var, and that's why we see all these undefined classes. So this is line 156. Let's see if I want to figure out what's going on with this code. So 156, this is in constant string types, and it was of type. Where did type come from? If type New object explode. Okay, that's... So it explodes on the separator. So that's okay. I should be able to debug this if my indexes are messed up. So I'm going to split this out to just an else. Or maybe we can. Let's just start doing a test. I'm going to put a breakpoint here. And then go to the test case. And we'll just step debug through it. Right. This is 543. Oh, is this breaking? Is that if statement breaking the play? Sure is. That's interesting. All right. So let's do a... First, I'll just do a test run. And then we'll check. Okay, there we go. There's always a first time error. There's some kind of cache. So let's run a debugger. And we'll step through and see what's inside this type that we can split out. Because calling is super of isn't working. And I should actually copy that code. So let's do another. Let's put this here. Debug. And hope this debugger catches soon. I'm going to hit stop and try to just play it again. And see why this is going so slow. I'm going to close down Dropbox really quick. All right, so that ran. Now we want to debug it. That's what is going on here. Right. So that should be running, and I need to figure out why or how this worked before and how we split it up. Type this get type. Something, that means something broke in here. If intersection type is constant string type, explode on a single. And then this is supposed to split it on a double. So that's the issue that's happening. So node concat. Oh, but where's the test data? Let me look at this test data. So we're at line 51. So access callback is the class two colons and that's what it has to talk about. So the union type. So let's stop in here. And the bug is actually inside this get type, I think. So let's rerun the debugger and fix it. And I feel like this just silently failed before. And I think they even called that out. Resolve. Originally being union type, the callback ended up here. So yeah, it was unchecked. So I fixed the bug. And let's call support concatenated callbacks and callables in render callback rule. I can't speak. And it's probably just complaining because I have there. I think that's a better title for it. Support concatenated callables and render callback, because node is a concat. So if we step through, it says it's a union type. So it's ignored. Okay, so we need to support that. So else if union type. This is where it'd be great if things just worked right now. Okay, so it is down there. Let's get it added here. So else if type instance of union type. And this is where I need to reboot phpstorm because it will not do me any good if I can't access the cache or the I won't know anything if it's not telling me what the methods are. So give me 1 second while I restart phpstorm. The toolbox will open. Here we go. Come on. There we go. All right, so we need to support unions. So we get the actual value and convert it to a constant array callback. And it's basically this logic right here. We need to replicate based off the union type. So let's drop a debug statement. Ignore that. And see, this is that test rule. So let's debug the test rule. I've been trying out the new phpstorm UI. I think I like it. I don't know if anybody else has been trying it. It's kind of nice. It took a long time for me to get used to the new icons. I know my biggest thing is the table drag in the upper corner seems to work fine on this computer, but for my work laptop, which is also a Mac, half the time it's just dragging and moving the window around instead of resizing it. All right, so need this to catch so I can inspect the union type. Come on. This is taking too long. Let's just run it again really quick. Oh, where'd the test go? It's not there. Render callback rule test. I'm gonna run it really quick and see if just make sure everything's fine. All right. Why don't you want to play? So I'm going to go inspect what a union type has on it. So I'm assuming, so we've got types. Get types is normalized. Get sorted types. Get constant arrays. Get constant strings. Accepts is super of other type. this get types is super of equals describe. All right. So we're here. It is a union type, types. Wait, why is it? There's 4 types. Hold on. Where's that sample? So the union type on line 541. Where are we? Hold on. Node 51. So method. Oh, because it could be any of these types. Oh, geez. So, type is constant string type. So let's try this. Type get constant strings. I thought I saw something in here. Get types, get normalized, get sorted types. Okay, get constant arrays, get constant strings. So let's try this. So let's redebug this and see what gets returned. This will be an array of constant strings. Let's pick from types. And constant string type else if type instance of. So now we're supposed to do this check on get constant strings. That's not going to. But the problem is the one class, if I can get to it, string type will return empty. So a constant string type just returns this wrapped in an array, which would work because we're doing the for each here. So maybe okay, so maybe I shouldn't test anything yet. So it is callable. It's not a function. It's function. There's a string match. If match is not equal to null, match is 1. If class reference is final. So there it is. The problem is, I guess. All right, thinking time. What I think needs to happen is the logic that is down here for splitting it out needs to happen above. Or it just gets duplicated in here as the test is doing by exploding on callable. It just would be nice if this logic and is callable wasn't locked away. So that way a constant string type, if it was a callable to a class method, could be what do you want to say? It could get its object type. No, we have the object get its class. So let's see what we have. Get is class string type. Has class this value. So let's try some debugging. So this should be, so we've got debug 1. Let's go with debug 2 equals type is class string type and debug it. I think it makes sense to not try to resolve the union type here. I'm going to undo that breakpoint and see if we can just fix this logic in the constant string types. This probably will need to be split into an else to try to discern everything that's happening. So how about I do that once this debugger is done, or not when it's done. Let's just cut this out, paste this here, and say matches equals that caught and didn't crash. I'm actually going to stop it for after I get to here. Once I get this done. So matches equals this explode. Limit to 2 just in case. This would then be matches 0, which is callable. Does the same thing ish. Just it's much more strict in how it checks. So let's go ahead and debug it and see if we can refine this more. I think this will just have to be the fix. Or maybe I'll have to make a helper for converting or for handling this. But I feel like there's might be something inside of a constant string type that I can use. It's here. So get callable parameters or acceptors match inaccessible methods. Okay, debug 1. -1 is a no. Yeah, okay. So it is not a super of. We know that. That's why we have the bugs. It is not a class string type. So get class string type object. That is not the case. That won't do it. Describe as super of is callable. We know we have that. Parameters acceptors. So get scope can call method. I think maybe this will do the case. So in this case, if it's not callable, it's get caught. If it's a function, it gets caught. Here we need to do more inspections. So let's try. Let's try getting the callable parameters. Pass in the scope. Because this will return the variance. And variance should return, allow us to be able to get to the declaring class without doing anything, without us having to explode all this stuff. So let's get back to the debugger and see if we can get it to run. And so my hope is that get return type. Oh, that's just the parameters. Get the return type template map. That's not going to tell us about the parent class. So it's not going to work like I was hoping. Function variant with docs. Yeah, template map. PHP doc return type. That's not it. So let's keep looking. To number, to integer, to array key, a string, and generalize. Nope, is greater than is equal to, can access, has content to PHP doc node. That is not going to do it, but let's see about string type, describe, to number, lose compare, has method. Try remove. Nope. That's not it. Good. I feel like I've been down this rabbit hole before, and I know it doesn't exist. So this is even duplicated in here. So why don't we just follow this approach. Just going to copy this up here and call it a day. And just check this. What is this? Okay, not gonna look at that. So yeah, so do the match. And this is in constant string type, get value, matches. This doesn't really handle if this returns null. So if it's null, it returns no. So we say if matches is equal to null. Right, because that's what it assigns matches to. If it's not matches, that's not the case. What did I do down here? If count. Okay, I just did count. So if count matches not equal to 1. Wait, is equal to 0. Never mind. It's going to be 3. So just say 0. And we'll return this error. Else. And that's where we can say matches 1. The object type. This is taking a second to wake up, so I can merge these two. This should do it, I think. Get back to debugger. All right, so we're going to copy the split, then count the matches. If that happens to be empty, we'll say it's not callable because something went wrong, which shouldn't happen. And then we'll see if the first class is a super of the other. Perfect. Some matches. We have the full. There we go. All right. There we have it. So I'm going to review the changes and we'll get this committed. Yeah, so we have that. Undo that change because that's not needed. And undo this change as that's just a workaround PHP Storm. Commit. Push that up to the fork. So it's not a regression. Callables treated as union type used to silently fail on render. Silently used to be skipped on render callback rule. No, created by there. Okay, so caused by that, there's a hopefully better summary for the release notes, and tests already failed. Probably because of linting with phpstan. Code sniffer. Yep. Go figure. Under callback rule. Did not mean to close it. Oh, tests are failing too. 168. All right, so let's just PHP vendor bin, PHP CS. That passed. phpstan. See what's failing there. And I did not run all the other tests. There's a good chance something broke. So while that runs, I'm just going to rerun all the tests really quick. Did I forget to reboot my computer? Yep, that's probably why. I usually do a reboot before I stream. Forgot to today because it's been a while. 3 days isn't a lot, but when it's the laptop and my personal one's closed a lot of times, I feel like it gets weird when it has a long uptime, but part of it's when it's sleeping. So test, linting, yeah. If just make sure all the tests pass first, and then I'll push. That's neat. We're up to 100 or 402 tests. No. Okay. Diff AV. Okay. Just going to approve it. I know I made the last changes, but it's the right fix. Just double check the diff. So adding in this check. There's a test, and there's the test case. Awesome. So the really neat part about this is in that test case, since this didn't go off, the constant string is actually a union of these 4 types. So if any of those aren't, don't implement, are not part of the trusted callback interface, it will throw an error. So that's really cool that that's working now that way. If I can get it to load. We have a test on 7.4 in Drupal 9. This job failed. Yes, I want to know why. What? Hold on. Why isn't it telling me the output? Is there like a broken request somewhere? No. I'm going to see if I can rerun that. See, it was not this job. It was 7490. That I've never seen that where it didn't show the logs. So hopefully it's just a blip. I know GitHub has been having a wonderful time this whole week. It seems like there's been outages every morning. So maybe that was just a hiccup. I just want to know what test failed. Because locally, I have no idea what I'm on. It's test. Okay, yes. So it's testing against Drupal 9 and Drush 11. So what failed? Let's see if this one has any info yet. I just skipped. I don't think I introduced any PHP 8 syntax because I have PHP Storm set to support PHP 7.4 still. Which will be nice when I drop that support. I'm not sure when I'll make that decision, but it will be a bigger release bump. So that passed. This is still running. Come on. Well, while that goes, I'm gonna look for the next issue. So yes, we're gonna solve that one, and then entity query count type is always expected to have knowledge about the entity query it's on. This is another wonderful bug about entity query access, which makes me want to lose my mind because it was the most. Whatever. It was a change made to Drupal 10 that makes you add access checks to content entity queries. And personally, I don't like the change, and the detection of it makes us dance around code like this, which I don't think should exist. So there's this method like do query, which says this query, and the problem is this return type is a generic query interface. Like we have no idea what kind of query it is, or that previously somebody called access check false on it. So once these two methods call it, phpstan says, okay, it's query interface because that's what's the documented PHP doc return type. So that means we have to just ignore these and not support it and let people get runtime exceptions, which I think is bad. Or in my opinion, people shouldn't write code like this, but I know that's a battle I will not win. So we'll pick that one up in a moment. It's good to see these tests are passing. So the proposed fix is to just not count it as an entity query type. But the problem is this is just going to be the same problem regardless. Or is this somehow passing? So wait a second. Hold on. I guess something has to be wrong here because this is passing, but this isn't. So maybe we do have a precedent for this. So let's go dive into the wonderful world of entity query types inside phpstan-drupal. Entity query dynamic return type extension. That's the storage extension. Entity query dynamic return type. So we do execute. And if it's not, I guess that's the case. Really dislike this access check change for Drupal 10. Really. It looks like in execute we handle this the same way. But I guess all we can do is the same on counts. So that's the case. Just ignore it because we can't determine it, and that's the same exact thing that we do below hand. So let's at least merge this. That should have closed this issue then. Yep. All right. Let's change. Ignore count if unknown type. So yeah, we'll just call it that. Ignore count if unknown type. I mean, it technically passes. I'm just going to run the branch update really quick. I'm just going to merge it as is because we do it with execute. There's not much we can do. Update branch. And then let's look for the next issue. So false positives from load include rule. When the name argument isn't parsable. It's code. Okay. Let's review the PR. So let's call this so skip load include if base name is not resolvable. So I think that's the best we can do, but I want to look at it a little bit more. Because the code that's referencing this is also very old. Pull. I want to check out the PR. And the load include base and see if there's any way to improve it. Probably not, because of the test fixture in question. So in this case, like, it's really dynamic. Like, index is an unknown number, so there really is nothing that it can load. But I want to see. Excuse me. So yeah, that's not. If type, get constant strings. This could be improved to not use the typing of it, but I want to debug this, and I'm going to see if there is something we can improve. Probably not, because it won't know the actual value, so it can't actually test loading the file, and that's what this does. So if the file exists, it will it's like module load include. This is a deprecated method, but if it exists, it requires the file, because that's what Drupal would do. So that brings certain functions into scope. So let's 547. I'm just going to click run to make sure that it doesn't do that random error. Yep, and there's that random error. Let's run the test. Then I'll rerun it with debug and see if we can dive in. So I'm always curious to see what's actually happening underneath the hood in these issues. So once that's done, then the integration test will run. What's this? Where's base name? Here it is. Okay. Play. Okay. So if name is not equal to null, name is arg, value is a concat. and right is a variable. Name values to the expression is concat is intersection type, accessory non-falsy string, string type, and that can't be resolved. So let's try this. Types equals type. Get constant strings. I want to run the debugger here and see what comes back. I don't think there'll be anything we can do, but it is discouraged doing these type instance of. So I just want to see what the value is and then refactor this to clean it up. Did this pass yet? Almost. One more job to do. So string types, entity test. That's, yeah, okay. The ink. Here we get to the base name. String types is 0. So we'll do this. So if count string types greater than 0, turn we'll turn that around. Well, there, that's the new proper way to do this. And yes, yeah, so then we have to skip it. So if base name is null, we have to get the name. If it's still null, got it. Because otherwise here, if base name is null, it goes to the same as the module. So let's do get diff. Just get commit AV, refactor usage of. If we're in here, I'm at least going to get that fixed. And then let's squash and merge this one. Yeah, so if the name is not null, and then the base name, and if it's still null after we resolve it, return false, false. All right. This one's good to go. So I'll merge this once it's passing, and of course there's some errors because why not? So phpcs. I really should give myself a pre-commit hook that I do, but I'm so lazy about pre-commit hooks. AV, phpcs net. But I think it's time to do that. What is it, like PHP Captain Hook? Like, isn't that what it, like the PHP version of it is? Yeah. Think there. I always see Ben Ramsey tweet about this, or it's his template, maybe. Hold on. I think what it is he has a template PHP library starter kit. And this has all the things that you need, such as, I'm guessing, for making you format your commits properly, which I am absolutely horrible at doing. And then captainhook.json to do commit message, pre-test, pre-push for commit test, pre-commit for composer validate. Yeah, I should probably set myself up with some of these things. so that way I have less rework to do. All right, so now this is running. So that will get closed. So next part, this is a new deprecation that came in. And let's first, I want to look at all the bugs because I finally set up issue templates and things got set up as a bug. So let's load these three things and I can do some triage. First, I looked at this. Needs details. Yep, I have no idea how we got to this part. But when they're running, was it like has access check and config entity type, config entity query type? It said undefined method, but it's defined. Config entity query type extends entity type, which has access check. So I don't know what happened there. Last month, I'm going to give it a little bit of time before I close that. Oh, where did this commit go? That's the wrong fix. Dynamic file load support using module handler and an all-in-one static call does not work. The one-line static call seems not to be handled. When using module handler to a variable first, it works fine. Well, luckily, we're in this space, so let's look at that test because maybe this is fixed already. So where's that test case? Module load rule test. And let's look at the data fixtures. Not a lot. So there's a good chance that. So handler, load include, module handler, load include. Well, it's looking like this might be true. And that's the old setup for test fixtures, which I really want. I need to spend one day cleaning up. Because I thought I need to have them in actual modules when I don't. Module handler, module handler. This seems like it could be. All right. That seems legit. And this is a big issue. I'm just going to close. This is old. This is old. Not sure if it's still an issue or if the fix from resolve this. What is this commit? Let's open a new one if this is still a problem. Or maybe this is still an issue. Yep, this is probably still an issue. So I'm not going to close it, and I'm not going to tackle it on this stream. All right. So before I go diving into 177, let's see if this passed. I can merge it. It did. Let's squash merge. And I'm going to go take care of this other bug. So let's do get check out, get pull. And create a new branch. I don't like that. Before, you used to be able to type create branch and it would work. But I guess Option Command N is the shortcut. Just to make sure that. Okay, so where'd that load include rules tests? Come on. So let's create a new data fixture. New file, bug, 177.php. And we can actually copy a lot from what we just tested. Not a lot, rather, but we can. Not that one. 516. Let's do that. Namespace bug 177. Function foo. Bum 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 bum. Actually, I want something that will pass. So I want to get back to the fixtures. Drupal module. phpstan fixtures module. Get app root, load include. Okay, so this actually works. So let's go to bug 177. It doesn't work, but related to. So the problem is this is going to run one rule and it's not going to check if this function is actually available. That's the problem. And we don't show any warnings if it can't be loaded. So I don't know if I can test this because it's always going to be an empty. Actually, I want it. I know. Type. All right. So now that it's a bad name, it should throw an error. And if it doesn't, I'm going to try the whole assigning it to a variable. Okay. So let's do module handler equals. Something should error here. Okay. So we should have two errors, but we don't. So this is the bug. So what is it? So it should be line 08. It should be line 6. So line 6 and 8 should have the same error. So if I run the test, we'll see that we are missing one of the errors. There we go. All right, so time to figure out why this doesn't work. Or actually, I want to create the PR that's failing. So git status, add tests, git commit, test for 177, git push u origin. PR create. Oh, load includes not working. Let's call it that. All right. Now I need to figure out why. So load include base, that's not going to be it. It's not module load include because that's deprecated. Oh, actually, no, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Had to run away real quick. Now I'm back. So we need to figure out why this fails, but this passes, and that's going to be inside this check here with this method call. So method name, load include. We just got to do a breakpoint here. Slap on the debug. And this PR now linked. No, I forgot to link to PR because I didn't say it. I didn't say in the PR description it would fix it. Let's do edit. So we'll fix 177. And just to make sure, this test failure is going to be, all right, there we go. So let's walk through this. Method name, load include, great. So let's first look at the attributes here. Line 6. Line 6, this is where things fall apart. So args. Static call. Oh, well, that's silly. Right there's the problem. Well, there we go. Because it says if not variable. Oh, this code, how old is this code? Hold on. This is code that's like 3 years old from when I first started doing this, and phpstan was like way different. So let's do type equals scope get type node there. Let's restart from scratch and revamp all of this. Why is this erroring? Then use variable type. Okay, so let's get this checked. Name, method name, node name. Oh, yeah, this is type, object type. Here we go. Expected string for variable. Where is this used? Is this used anywhere? Nope. All right. I think this is the fix. So let's do the breakpoint and run it through. How old is this issue? Since 2021 also. Well, it's better late than never to fix things. All right, wait for this to catch. Because the node is a method call, so if we got the type, yeah, this is just a shortcut, as we know that will be the type. Module, file, absolute path, error. Boom. All right. I think that's the fix. Wait for the debugger to finish. Or it did catch. Let's hit play. And then let's just run the test. Let's phpcs this quick too, because I don't want... There we go. Should not happen. Exception is not used in that file. There's there. Rerun phpcs. Awesome. Git diff. Git commit ab. Use types properly. So yeah, that code is before there was the new type system that was pushing the phpstan. So that is a good refactor and cleanup. And then that should be able to be merged. This leads us with... Let's move that label. Maybe just do some triage. I'm going to find out the stuff that's unlabeled. And see, oh, there's a lot. And try to just do some cleanup. And make sure these are all labeled appropriately. A lot of static calls. This I found out on my own. So this is technically an enhancement. This is also an enhancement and it's drush related. So let's do enhancement. Do I have a drush? Let's create a new label called drush and see if we can get to a blue-ish color. Good enough. Stubs. So let's see. This is an enhancement and stub files. Traversing through. Let's see. The issue is this can return null. Wait. Can actually return null. This page might be right. Client get any was considered phpstan, always return a valid. I'm going to... I'll wait to close it. I'm going to label it as a bug. and then I'll close it later. And it seems like a stop. I don't know where this is taking me now. I'm closing the tab. Cannot unset string offsets. Drupal extension. See what this linked one is. All right, I'm guessing this is fixed if their Psalm autoloader was fixed too. That one's almost ready, so let's refresh. Drupal's class alias is not being detected. I opened that, but I don't even remember it. This, I think, is a non-issue. This is a non-issue now. Because I think it was undeprecated in Symfony for Symfony 6 and then redeprecated. I don't know for sure, so I'm just going to leave it because I need to double check. Improve argument checks against constructor with new static. It doesn't report missing parameter on create function. This catches when using new self, but new static. I don't know if we can improve this. So let's see. Enhancement. Labeling as an enhancement. Because we need to see if we can make phpstan more make phpstan work the same for new static and new self in these instances. So yeah, I can't really do much there if Drupal's doing things that aren't that work outside the box, or rather by using new static everywhere. What? Oh, rerun failed jobs. Service arguments are not verified against class construct. The classes in the services file were not verified against the class construct. Is this fixable? Oh. Yeah. So the idea here is that we parse services YAML. There is a phpstan documentation. What the hell do you mean? What is going on? GitHub. Documentation, developing extensions, custom rules, always used and use private constants. Always use class constants. There's something that was implemented. Custom rules, collectors. I think collectors that look at a whole base inside. There we go. I believe phpstan 1.8.0 made this feasible by using collectors. Collectors are executed the same way as rules in a separate process, and they collect various information about the code base. Get node type, trait. Returns a node type. Every time the analyzer encounters a node type, the second parameter process node is called. The goal of the process node method is to return data later used by custom rules. There's the collector, then using it in a custom rule. Get type collected data node. Gets collected data node. This object contains all the gathered data from the collectors, but it's only possible to get data from a single collector at a time. This could listen to all. This would listen to all. This would collect on struct for get node type, then in this node it would check the service map to see if the class is a service. Then a custom rule could be applied to check the service definition against the arguments. I think that would be possible then. That's doable. So let's, can I pin this? I'm going to pin it because that's a fun issue. I have several pinned issues that I haven't been able to get to yet because I've been working on other bugs, but this one seems cool. I tried to rerun the errors, rerun the failed jobs. What is going on here? I'm going to rerun the failed one again. And, okay, yep. Actions are having issues. So if it errors one more time, I'm just going to merge it. But it looks like it'll be okay this time. Hug ops out to everybody at GitHub right now. All right, let's keep triaging some of these issues. Symfony constraints and unknown properties. phpstan-drupal should emit messages that are consistent with runtime. This has to be a policy moving forward, changing, as I have accidentally found out before, changing messages is a backward compatibility break, as it breaks all baselines. So I should, the action here should be creating a pull request template that has a series of to-dos. This verifying the error message matches deprecation messages is one of them. So that is a, don't know what to call it because it's kind of meta. It's not any code changes actually. All right, this ran. I'm gonna do a squash merge of this pull request. Another issue down. So I thought phpstan Symfony help. This is not true. So this is an enhancement. And now it's down to 81 issues. A lot of still pull requests also. Let's see. I'm just gonna look through them now. Missing return type on setup, not always flagged. Support checking method exists for backwards compatibility. Unable to detect pre-render callback with dynamic class. Let's see. Wait. So when class is a dynamic value. Oh. So let's see. So class, I see here. Okay. So class would be resolved from this logic. This seems worth adding a test case for. So that seems like it should be fixed by recent work, but let's label it a bug. Access check. Closing this as that 454 was merged. There have been many more fixes around this area since then. Let's open. If there is still a remaining case, please open a new issue. Right. Oh, shoot. Add check for manually created services must specify public or private. Oh. Is it? This is an enhancement. It is required in Drupal 10. That's, jeez. I love all these runtime things with Drupal. Entity query access check incorrect if query is property. Yep, we know that exists. I was hoping to do like the service ID thing for service ID parameters. That didn't seem to work. Parameter and return types for hook implementations. phpstan type for entity type ID. Thought about that too. Datetime callbacks. I think this might be a duplicate. Inspect controllers. All right, I think that's a lot of them. All right, so drush styles with drush 11. If anybody else is running into this, scan directories. Let's label this a bug. And drush, I don't know if it still exists, but let's do it there. So I thought about doing a full scan of Drupal core to see if I induce or if I add any breaks, because core does have a baseline. So Drupal core has a baseline neon file with all the errors. And the idea would be I could see if any changes would remove or add errors to Drupal core. So I'll call this an enhancement. It's kind of like making phpstan be a canary. This issue, so labels, enhancement. Add these keys to render callback rule. Actually, this is probably a good one to do right now, but I need to see if there's another issue. Nope. All right, so let's take care of this. Update. Let's make the new pull request. And go to render callback rule. And this is one reason I refactored it the other day. Or 2 weeks ago, and I refactored it because I knew this was a to-do in here. So let's date time callbacks. And date callbacks. Which if access callback, lazy builder. That's right. So all of these need to be an array. Let's just make sure. Because pre-render, all those are an array of values. Render array callback supported by. All right. I think that's all there is for the fix. I'm just going to add it without test cases because why not? I know the rules tested enough. I should add a test case. I should add a test case. So let's go find these. They're supported by date time and date list render elements. So let's just go look at that real quick. Fixtures, Drupal, date callbacks. It's gotta be one with an example here. This date callback string. Oh boy. I'm just gonna push it as is. Diff git commit AV add date and date time render callbacks to render callback rule. Fix this 393. Origin GitHub 393. Let's create the PR. And submit. Use while on chained methods. So this was, what did we want to do here? For something, while var method call. So they did like they go up a lot of chain methods to figure out like the source identifier. So unchain methods and execute, but I don't think we need this. I don't think we need this anymore. Because that was only if items were chained, but we don't have this problem. So I'm gonna do close with comment. It's unplanned. Entity access check conversions for routing. And I opened an upgrade status. I'm going to close this because there's nothing we can do. All right. So this PR open. Wait for this to get green. And I close it. I want to get back to the unlabeled. Okay, so I got through some of these. The drush command, that would be one thing I want to get back to eventually. Detect deprecated entity bundles route requirement, that we can't do. But it's not loading. Here we go. Route requirement. What is this on? This is on upgrade stat. This is people.org project upgrade status. Debug backtrace lifestyle. I'm on the Xdebug. So let's see. Airwin module doesn't have PHP code to review. Default theme is required. Where is that? Okay, so let's create a new issue. Let's see if anybody posted about this yet. Days ago. Oh. This is a phpstan-drupal error. Can you open an issue? I should try to just open the issue, but I don't really want to. That entity bundles. Let's create this issue here. Entity bundle route is deprecated. CR. Category task. Feature request version. .x code. Good enough. We can't parse routes. Opened upgrade status issue. And close it. Xdebug and ddev. Yep. ddev makes it super simple to do Xdebug. That is for sure. Provide parameter type inspection for entity hooks. Yep, that would be great. Guess let's label those performance improvements. Report errors if classes with dependency trait have private properties. And I'm getting back to some major feature work from before, so let's label this as an enhancement. parameter type. These are all things to try to make the edge cases a little bit easier. Just close this. I don't think I merged anything. I should do one. I should just do a stream where I just do a bunch of performance stuff against phpstan-drupal or even phpstan and Rector, like I can't remember now. StobMB, their GitHub name, has been doing like some great work. Like Symfony Finder or something like that. They improve performance on Glob like 20%, which improves Rector and phpstan. There's something in there that's like a shared dependency and improve that performance, and that's huge. Report errors of class with dependency have private properties. Support serialization of private properties. This is not fixed yet, and it's been sitting. So it's been sitting, and I'm not seeing any core movement or any movement from core committers. So this needs to happen. In this pass, I'm going to do a squash merge. The form API, that needs to happen. This would be a huge win. No, not duplicate. Enhancement. Turn statement is missing. Wasn't able to reproduce that. So an error on service names are invoked but missing. This is a bad idea. This isn't a great. Let's see what it could do. If this moves forward, it should be behind a flag and opt in only. That way, end users can choose to turn this on. Continue to choose this on. Their code has more control and probably does not have dynamic service declarations. Let's do that and label it as an enhancement. I just realized I think issues get bumped based on activity. So now it's going to be reversed. All the old stuff will be at the top. Oh well. Detect deprecated method calls in twig files. Not how it should do that. This is over grabby by sure. Run phpcs and phpstan in their own job. Provide some way to disable rules provided. This is can copy what strict rules is providing. This maximum 3 pinned issues. I'm gonna close this. All right, what do I have for pinned issues? Let's see. I'm gonna get rid of that one and pin this because I feel like this is a bigger one. because everybody copies around these inspections. So let's see. All right, let's go review this final list. So, yep, everything's backward now. Oh, provide a way to disable rules via flags. Where's this? Dupe of. So that's a duplicate, but I'm gonna keep it open since there are subscribers to this. And way to go me for not paying attention to the fact that I have this open. All right, let's get a release made and see what was done. So let's see. Let's create 1.1 through 0.32. Let's draft a new release. 1.1.32, 1.1.32, generate release notes. So boom. Thank you, Bogey. Bougie. I don't even know how to say the handle. Thank you for all those contributions. I know that's because Drupal core is advancing its usage of phpstan-drupal, and this is unblocking it. So hopefully these help as well. Create a discussion for it and publish the release. All right, so there we go. Do a little bit of triage of phpstan-drupal. Got some issues fixed. And then I plan on getting back my weekly cadence. So that way I can keep on fixing phpstan-drupal, jump to Drupal Rector, and then I've just got some fun projects I'm working on. Like I want to get back to using Pest with Drupal and then experimenting with the WebAssembly in Drupal again. So want to get back in my weekly live streams and hope to catch you with me. So hope you had fun. Have a good time. See you next week.